period of time where Jewish people have to look back at the long, long history of Klal Yisrael, and we have to ask ourselves, why are we still eating steak in Tarzanic Island? So that's a sign of Golis. That's a sign of the exile. It looks like it's wonderful. Steak on the bone, you can chew on it like a dog. It's great. However, thank you. I'm not pointing fingers at anything. Yeah. However, the bottom line is that that's not the way that Klal Yisrael, the Jewish people, should look. It's the way that we look. But the emes and the truth of the matter is that we want us to look a different way. And this, the Gemara says, a fascinating thing. The Gemara says that on Tisha B'av, both of the Beis Hamikdash, the Bate Mikdashim, they were both destroyed. The first one and the second one. So the Gemara says, why was the first temple destroyed? There was Shechina in the temple, the divine presence was there. There was Klal Yisrael living in Yerushalayim in HaKodesh. Seemingly there must have been Torah and mitzvahs that were taking place. Why was the temple destroyed? And the Gemara says, because in the first Beis Hamikdash, the people transgressed the three main averos, the three main sins. One was Avodah Zarah, they bowed down to idols. One was Shlichas Damim, they killed people. And the third of it was Gilui Arayos, they had relations with people. They had intimate relations with people that they were not supposed to. So which is a pella, it's very difficult to understand. You have a Beis Hamikdash in the world. The Shechina that's there when you walk inside, it's palpable, you can feel it. You can go in there and get an injection of Amunah and Bitachon and belief in Hashem. And yet outside the Beis Hamikdash, there's people killing people, they're committing adultery, and there's bowing down to idols on the streets. How does it happen? Maybe we'll talk about it a different time, but it happened. Says the Gemara, well, what happened in times of the second Beis Hamikdash? They must have learned from their mistakes. You realize that if you do all these terrible things, Hashem can destroy the Beis Hamikdash, so you got to learn, and you have to make it better for the future. So says the Gemara, Afal God, even though Hayoiskim b'Torah and mitzvahs u'gemilas chasadim, they were involved with learning Torah. Stark, they learned Torah very good. Lots of yeshivas, Talmidei Chachamim, and they were oisik in mitzvahs. They were doing every mitzvah they possibly could have, and they were doing chesed. So then says the Gemara, so what could they have done wrong that would have brought them to have a destruction of the Beis Hamikdash? And the Gemara says, people may buy because of what? Answers the Gemara, because of something called sinas chinam, which means senseless hatred, baseless hatred. Which says the Gemara at that point, L'lamedcha, it's coming to teach you, sheshekula sinas chinam, that sinas chinam is equal, it weighs as much as all of those other three averos together. It weighs as much as Avodah Zarah, serving idols, killing people, and committing adultery. It's all those three. If you put them on the scale would weigh the same exact. So just imagine one thing. You look at a person, and you don't like the way that they talk. You don't like the way that they're dressed. You don't like the way that they smell. You don't like their food, whatever it might be. Says the Gemara, if inside of your heart, at this moment, there is a hatred that you have for this person, so then you might as well lunge across the table, strangle his neck until he loses his breath, and leave him there for dead. You might as well pull out one of those big fat Buddha dolls and bow down to it. You might as well go and find some girl that you're not supposed to... No, I don't want to give any ideas. Yeah? And do something that's improper. Because doing sinas chinam, hating another Jew, is all of those three things together at once. It's just as bad. How could that be? How could sinas chinam be such a terrible thing? So the Maharal writes, when he speaks about the big three averos, why they're so terrible. Because the halacha is, we know the halacha is that if someone puts a gun to your head and they say, bow down to the idol or I'm going to kill you. Says the Gemara, it says what? Yahare v'al yavu. You have to give up your life and not do this aver and not transgress this sin of bowing down to the idol. They put the gun to your head and they say, I want you to go and kill this person. Yahare v'al yavu, you have to get killed. You're not allowed to transgress. Everything else, a person will put a gun to your head, God forbid, and they would say, turn on the light on Shabbos or I'm going to kill you. Says the Gemara, turn on the light. Because it says in the pasuk, "V'chai b'hem," you're supposed to live with the mitzvahs, v'lo yamus b'hem, not die with them. Which means what? Which means better that you should be mechalel one Shabbos and stay alive, so that you'll be able to keep many other Shabbosim in your life. But these big three, you have to give up your life for. Says the Maharal, why should that be? What's so terrible about these big three? He says because this is the exact opposite of what Klal Yisrael, of what a Jew is all about. A Jew is Kedusha, a Jew is close to Hashem, a Jew is someone who watches his ways and his manners and has an emunah shlema, a complete trust and belief in Hashem. And he does things, Yosha, he does things in the right way. These three sins, bowing down to idols, killing people, and Gilui Arayis, illicit relations, it's the antithesis of why HaKadosh Baruch Hu put us into this world. And therefore, if you're going to do that, then you don't belong to Klal Yisrael anymore. Better to give up your life and die as a Jew, and not chas v'shalom live as a person that's disconnected to the Jewish people. And l'chara, that the same thing is true with sinas chinam. Because we know, like it says, that what is the ikar mitzvah of the entire Torah? Ve'hafta l'reyecha kamoicha, to love your fellow like yourself. That's the Torah. Like Rabbi Akiva says, like Beis Hillel says, like it says, this is what life is all about. Life, when Klal Yisrael came to Har Sinai, they came ish echad v'lev echad as one. And the Beis HaMikdash itself, Rav Chaim Friedlander explains, it was a place to unite Klal Yisrael. If you have sinas chinam in your heart, you hate another Jew, senseless, baseless, for no reason, you can't find no reason why, then you're the opposite of what a Jew is supposed to be. Says HaKadosh Baruch Hu, if you're the opposite of Klal Yisrael, so then your actions are equal to the other three major averas, for that, I have to take away the Beis HaMikdash from you. Because you don't understand what a Beis HaMikdash, what a temple in this world is supposed to mean. You've been detached from Klal Yisrael, so then the temple doesn't belong to you anymore. We're going to wipe it off of the map. What is sinas chinam? Why does a person come to hate another Jew? The word chinam, ches nun mem, if you switch the letters around, you get nimuach. What does nimuach mean?
To melt.
Holy?
To melt what?
Oh, no.
To melt.
Namuch is low, but something else.
Namuch.
That's what the chaf
That's
is.
with a chaf.
Oh.
But nimuach, nimuach though, nimuach means to dissolve, to disintegrate, to melt. Sinas chinam is when you're noimeach, when you take the essence of who that person is in front of you, and you dissolve it, and you say, it's not chashuv, it's meaningless, doesn't mean a thing to me. I am not machshiv, I do not pay attention to you, I do not like the way that you look, I do not like the way that you talk, I don't want to hear what you have to say, you're bothering me, I don't like your clothing, I don't like the shoes, I don't like your car, I don't like your music, I don't like anything about you. You know why? Because I'm not machshiv, I don't appreciate and I don't respect who you are. Doesn't every person deserve some level of respect? Doesn't every person deserve some level of appreciation? Don't you want people to appreciate you? When you walk into the room, don't you want people to recognize you? It's always that uncomfortable feeling when you know you're walking through a large crowded room. Who's going to come over and say hello to me? Who's going to look at me? Or how are they going to look at me? We like it when all those eyes are looking at you, up and down, up and down.
Persian community.
It happens by the white folk also, don't worry. Yeah? Do you think that does a person deserve to be looked over like that? No! When they walk into the room, you're supposed to want to make them feel good and make them feel warm. Welcome! We're so happy that you're here. However, Sinas Chinam says, I'm not machshiv, I don't recognize, appreciate, or respect the person that is there in front of me. When that happens, then says HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you're the opposite of a Jew. That's not the mahalach, it's not the way that a Jew is supposed to behave here. There's a Rebbitzin that was Nifteres that passed away Sukkot time, Rebbitzin Kanievsky. Anyone knows who Chaim
Are you serious?
Kanievsky is?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, me neither.
Wow.
Oh.
That's crazy.
Kennedy also died, just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah, who cares about that?
Okay, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Yeah. But Rebbitzin Kanievsky, they recently put out a book about her, and you read this book, she was not a lady, she was not just a regular